All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the stew. This is obviously not the greatest update. You definitely want more updates and better news. And I feel like Nancy's been on my mind. Obviously, she's on social media, which is a good for face circulating. When it comes to missing people, you don't want to miss anything out, you know? So, anyway, where we're at today is I am not seeing what I'd like to see, which is her to be found, but we're getting some kind of updates. So as of today, the FBI has released a description of a suspect saying the person is a male who's approximately 5'9 to 5'10. This is exactly what we were talking about the other day. By the way, I don't know if for whatever reason the chat's not popping up on our screen. So I'll look at you guys' chats, but they're there. Right now, it looks like we talked about, we were really trying to debate on that picture last, if that was a man or a woman. Like I said, I just assumed it's a man. It looked like a man, and it looked like somebody who had a goatee. And you guys were the ones who pointed that out, because when you turn to the side, that mask kind of showed a goatee from like the side lip. They had the longer eyebrows, so I was really interested to know if it was a man or a woman. But the build to me revealed it to be a man. So it looks like this is what they're looking for. Now this is where I feel like I'm just so confused how someone can do this so easily. And again, this is not against the FBI or any type of organization. It's just kind of crazy. Like, this is insane, man. 13 days is a long time. If you were in captivity for 13 days, it would feel like a lifetime. It's almost 2 weeks of wherever you are. Now, I'm going to have to just start saying what I need to say without ever, you guys know how sensitive I am to this. My first thought is, have they really searched her property everywhere? Because I know her property isn't huge, but I mean, from experience, that's exactly where my family was, unfortunately. So maybe for some reason, somehow, some way, she is somehow on her own property. I'm sure they've checked everywhere, but there's just things you just don't expect, right? Like, you have to think outside the box at this point. You have to start thinking about possibilities, and you have to start thinking about what's things that you think aren't possible could be, because you don't know how to get inside the mind of a psychopath. You know, obviously there's a lot of speculation going on right now with what's happening, but at least getting down to it's a man. The reward went up to $100,000 for information that's going to lead to Nancy Guthrie. So this is a reward for anybody who can actually give information. Now, there's been a lot of online stuff here. Again, I like to just re-ground us and say, look, I'm really sad by what some people think. And I've seen a lot of people continue to say that she's not worth the trouble. I think that's really wrong. And that really just is ridiculous to say that a human being isn't worth being looked for, found, that this is too much effort, or, all these ideas of a hoax. It's just crazy. Like, at the end of the day, someone's missing, and it doesn't matter how old they are. And until we know what's going on, theories are theories. So I just wanted to say that before we keep going here. I know everybody's been kind of questioned, but I know they found gloves today, which is like the big update. They found some gloves. The neighbors are out. Like, imagine, like, in this area, everybody's waiting for her. Like, everybody's looking for her. Everybody knows that she's gone. I want to show this. Can you go show more? Yes. Okay, so back to where we started. After 5:30, Miss Guthrie took an Uber to the nearby of her older daughter, Annie, and her son-in-law. Then spent 4 hours together, eating dinner, playing games. And then she was dropped. Garage door opened at 9:48 and then closed 2 minutes later, according to authorities. Miss Sione watched and make sure Miss Guthrie made it safe inside the last time anyone in her family heard or saw her. So then her doorbell was disconnected at 1:47 a.m. And then 25 minutes later, a camera somewhere on her property got motion detected but did not record a video. Again, you have to think inside here. I just can't get over that feeling and that thought. You have to, I keep going back to, this has to be somebody who knew she was alone and knew the risk factor here. I don't think this was random by any means. And then at 2:28, 15 minutes after the camera was set off, Miss Guthrie's pacemaker lost contact with her cell phone, which investigators would later find inside the house, suggesting that this may have been about the time she was taken. Now, I don't have the video of showing how they blocked it, the ring, but it was disconnected, I'm pretty sure, which obviously would have shown some kind of motion. Even if you covered it, you'd have to disconnect it, pull it off, turn it off, whatever the case is, to get that to turn off, because there would be motion at the front, right? So I'm just giving you guys the complete rundown of today of where we are. Yeah, somebody, exactly. Somebody knew her system. Somebody knew. When I watched that video of the guy approaching the door, it's almost like he forgot about the ring or the nest, whichever one it is. And just kind of was like, oh man, forgot about that. Tried to figure out how to cover it up. I mean, there was a husband who did the same exact thing where he taped over his own doorbell and then went inside his house and unalived his wife in their garage, and then went back to work and called the cops to see if his wife was okay, even though he's the one that did it. I'm telling you, people are psychopaths. But again, her husband, I'm giving you that example because exactly almost the same thing in that regard. Someone shows up at the house, is aware of the systems, knows to disconnect things very quickly. And again, that's not random. And that's let me just say this is very thought through. Whoever's doing this really thought about this and pre-planned this, because these are a lot of the little mistakes you could make, right? And on top of that, I don't know if you can, I guess you can't ping anybody's number you don't know, so that doesn't matter. But so 24 hours after the sheriff's department first posted a missing person bulletin, Miss Guthrie, a Tucson television station, received a note claiming to be from her kidnapper. The station forwarded it to the authorities. Basically, they demanded millions of dollars in Bitcoin for the release of Miss Guthrie, which we talked about this. I watched an expert talk about the Bitcoin thing. I wanted to have that conversation once again. The expert was saying that really basically that yes, you can trace the Bitcoin, but you don't know whose wallet it is. And that's exactly what my point was. The reason why they're asking for the Bitcoin is, yes, you can see the transfer from your Bitcoin account to another one. Like you can see the money flowing. You don't know who it's going to. That's the untraceable part of it. So if somebody can be an anonymous person who gets $6 million in Bitcoin, I mean, that's the point. Their wallet is secret. And so they get to keep the money without being recognized. So that's what I was trying to make. Obviously, like I told you, I'm not an expert when it comes to Bitcoin, but the first thing I knew is that that's why somebody would ask for that instead of like cash, because how do you exchange in a hostage situation? I'll tell you right now, I'm not exchanging and sending money unless I know for a fact that the person that's been taken is alive. And then secondly, there needs to be a physical exchange at the same exact time that I send the money. There's no way I'm sending you money ahead of time. There's no way I'm doing anything without proof of life. There's no way I'm moving into this situation and sending money. Because again, people are really sick, and there's people who have claimed to be like the criminal or to know where people's kids are in missing cases, and come forward and claim the reward money, right? So there's people who will see this situation and be like, oh well, this person's missing. Let me see if I can get money off of this. We've talked about this before. This is why this is so scary, because without proof of life, without knowing for a fact that the person that has been taken is okay and alive, there really is no negotiation to be had. But at the same time, it's your loved one. So what do? You're really locked here. I know the authorities are working on this, but like I said, when it comes down to details, this is really weird. It's really weird. I can't get over the feeling in my gut. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. The feeling that I'm personally getting right now is that there is something more someone knew who she was. This isn't random. That's my first gut feeling. And then 2, they can't prove that she's alive. They don't have the ability to prove that, which I think just, what do you do with that? You know? And trust me, I'm not saying this to be insensitive. I put myself in their shoes. There's just no way there's no confirmation there. So there's no peace in knowing that, okay, if I send the money, if I do the thing you're telling me to do, you will return my loved one. That is all that matters. So you're not going to pay that kind of money for absolutely nothing. For someone to possibly have taken your family's life and then take the money on top of that and get away with it forever, that's not a good idea. So you have to be really smart here. You have to be really level-headed. I don't know how you do that in this kind of situation. I want to reground for like the Guthries right here. It's kind of weird that we're on this spot right here, but it's for the last 13 days straight, this family is probably in a deep turmoil. And I know you guys, people are saying all kinds of theories and this and that. Right now, until we know anything more, you can't blame the victims. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the kind of hell it is to not know where a loved one is. So please, and if you do, then you do empathize more, because you don't want to start putting out theories that they're behind it, because that's just 10 times worse and it dilutes the whole investigation, right? We need to go back to find Nancy, bring her back, then everything else can be figured out later. I'm having a really hard time with it though, because you're not going to want to give up hope. It's just the fact that we don't have the confirmation here. That's what's getting me more than anything. This is a long time to go without truly knowing that they're okay. And I don't want a picture at this point. I would want some kind of video proof. I would want updated pictures. I would need a lot of proof of life to continue, because at this point, there's nothing happening. But I also have to look at it as you're desperate and you love your loved one and there's no price. It's not about the price though. It's about the fact that we don't even know who we're talking to. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what they've done already. We just know that they're dangerous. That's it. So that's exactly where I have to really step back and think how I would handle this situation. When they did this video, they agreed to pay. So whoever wanted the money has an opportunity to claim that, right? I know they're obviously assuming that they're smart enough to think that this would be a tracked thing. I would assume that the person knows that they've got to be really careful, but I'm assuming that's why they wanted Bitcoin and they don't want a random pile of cash or something like that. Yeah, they need Ray, bro. They need to call in some experts, man. Ray will figure it out, bro. But the thing is, you have to really put yourself in an investigator's shoes, because I try to do this with these cases when we're talking about them. I think about every angle of what's going on here. Imagine this is plopped on your lap, okay? Let's play detective real quick. Okay, so someone comes and says, hey, this woman is missing. Here's this doorbell footage. And we're going to look, there's all these things have happened. Here's the timeline. Here's everything. It's laid out on your desk. You have to find that person, right? So I'm just trying to put that into perspective as well, as like, I think some people understandably are like, why is this investigation not moving? I also am just trying to say, look, it's got to be a hard job to try to figure something out that you don't have the answers to either. And you're trying to do everything within the books that you can. You're trying to find them in person, like, the deadline. There's probably a lot of pressure there, and you're trying to figure all this out. But obviously, the more you read online, the more your mind can kind of turn. So if I were a detective, I'd have to stay away from it, because it would just dilute my brain and make me think all these different ways. It was really interesting. I listened to Rob and Ray. We might have to rewatch that interview, but they were talking about this whole, my family's whole case. And they were talking about just the media side of it. And I was really interested to hear that, because what do you do when it's your investigation and people get to throw in an opinion or a theory every day? Realistically, it puts you in a position where you have to shut the noise out and you have to deal with what you know. They've searched her property. they have more information than we do. And, you know, you still don't exactly, you can't connect what you don't know yet. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I know, I agree with you. Yeah, and the thing is that got me the most, the number one thing that the doorbell cam obviously is unbelievably terrifying, but it's finding her blood on the front porch that is what is haunting me the most here. And I hope, again, damn, bro, I just want you guys to, I never want to sound callous here ever, because this is very real. This is very, very hard. But that just, like, there's just certain details in your own cases that they just drop your stomach, and there's no way to process it, really. And like I said, I've had a bunch of those, right? When I saw Lori and Chad walking and there was nobody in the car, there was no sign of kids. Nate's got a friggin' thing in their face. They're in Hawaii at Kauai Beach. You know what I mean? Then I heard Lori's arrested. And then, you know, the dates came up before that. So there's these moments where you just, like, you start to lose your hope. You also, though, can't too forward project and just go with what everybody's saying, you know? And I've seen it. I'm just going to say it callously here just because I want you guys to understand that this is how it's coming off. But in all these comments, people are like, you're wasting your time. She's gone. Does it matter? Don't pay the money. She's not worth it. She's too old. That is what people are saying. And they have no problem saying this stuff. I don't know, man. That's not just callous to me. That's just like you've lost your soul a little bit. You might have lost a little bit of that human side, because who cares? Who cares how old someone is, man? All right, so we got another update here. Now, this is another yeah, I saw this too. So if you guys haven't seen this, there's no sound here, but there's another doorbell cam here. And this is supposedly looks like the same person who's down the street. Very weird. Very weird. But this is a week before. A week before. I did see the picture of his face. Yeah, this is the picture of the dude's face. Okay? What's weird, though, is that perfect to... Guys, that's the eyebrows and the stash, though. Yeah, bro, that's not even funny. Same eye shape. Oh, no. That's the eyebrows and the stash to the T. The long eyebrows and the goatee. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it looks like the same exact person. By the way, this is from Tess, by the way. That's how much of an OG she is. I saw this earlier, though. I saw this picture right here. Okay. Whoa, how is it freaking... It's letting you see the right through the screen. That's crazy. I've never seen that. That's the dude right there. I mean, if you look at that picture, bro, that is the same exact eyebrows, and that would be the same exact goatee. Yeah, see, I don't even like... These comments are ridiculous. But this is 1 week before. You can't really see his body as much, so it's hard to really put together. I'm sure that's the person who they're probably looking at the most, right? Sketchy behavior. That eyes do. I'm telling you, it's for me, it's the long eyebrows more than anything, because that was what I was looking for in every single one of those comparison pictures, is when somebody puts a mask on. Do I have a mask in here? Give me 1 second. Hey, don't laugh at me right now, all right? This is from when I was working, so don't start all that garbage, okay? Don't be saying sketchy stuff about me. I don't want to hear nothing. You see this? Don't say nothing sketchy about me. This is from when I was working outside, and I still got valley fever, so don't be talking all that garbage. Look, this goes up over your face, right? But if I pull this down, you just get like a little bit of the eyebrow. But if I had long eyebrows that went out to here, and this was pulled down, you would be able to see my eye shape and my eyebrows. He has the long eyebrows, all right? So don't be talking all that garbage to me right now. Yeah, I have one of these masks. I told you I was a meningitis menace. I still go out at night and serve justice. You guys didn't hear that from me, though. All right, so that's why I said what I said, though. Because it's really important to put into context. If somebody, dude, I'm telling you right now, that's him. It's almost impossible. Look, let me find that picture we found. Like, it's almost the exact same person. If it's not him, I would be baffled. I'm serious. Okay, here it is. That's this image right here that's going to prove it. It's the same eye shape though too. Bro, come on now. Come on. Come on, dude. Hold on, I'm making a side by side here. Give me 1 second. I want to show you why this is so important. Because that face says it all right there. Bro, I'm telling you, this guy looks almost identical, and that if he put a mask on, look. Okay? There's the dude. Okay? Goatee behind it. Long eyebrows. Look at the long eyebrows. Come on now. Same eye shape too. Look at the eyes. This is a obviously grainy picture. Just saying, man. That's not even funny. So this is where we're at, though. I mean, we're still at a point where that might be the suspect. This could be the guy. But Nancy's still nowhere to be found. And you don't even know if this guy gets caught, what the plan is, right? Like, how are we going to make sure find out what happened to Nancy? Her family deserves to know that. Then the public can know that. But a family is the most important one. They need to know where their loved one is. That's it. That's only piece they're going to ever have in this situation, no matter what the outcome is. Exact same shape. You're exactly right. I'm telling you that the second I saw that face and then resaw the mask, that got it for me. So this is the thing, though. Yeah, man, I just have to say how it is. I just don't know how you can go through with anything until you know exactly that she is updatingly alive and okay. Because a ransom only matters if the person is going to be returned. That's the threat. But in a hostile situation like this, where you have to make a decision for your family, of course you're going to want to pay it, and of course you should pay it. But also, there's no proof that she's okay. So that's what gets me the most and hurts me the most. Okay, I know we've kind of gone over the different family videos because they're very important. But you have to understand, this is a family trying to figure out what to do. I guarantee you, whoever did this or is doing this is watching this stuff, and they probably like it in some sick way. I know, just based off of what Chad said. He said, I watched your Chiefs. I saw you in that Chiefs uniform or something like that. I was like, oh, so you watched my video plea to my mom, which means they probably watched themselves. Because I think there's something sick about certain people when they do something really wrong or nasty. They probably go out and make fun of it. Who knows what they do? They're really sick because you don't do this stuff with a normal person doesn't ever do anything like this, right? Hold someone at ransom and demand money for a life. right? Man, I'm telling you right now, it's these angles. That's the face. That's the long eyebrow. It's the long eyebrow I've been looking for. Is that guy right there? I know everybody in Arizona is down there. Everybody is down there. It's crazy. Oh, so this is a better view of her house. I've never seen this view. So that's her front door, which means somebody could have come up, parked here, or on the other side of that U, kept their car there, and brought her out. My first thought was, and I know it's going to sound stupid, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but you've got to, like, my first initial reaction would be, I need to check every inch of this house because there's no confirmation that she ever left the house. That would be my first thing. And I know they've probably done it. I'm just saying it out loud, but I would check every single possible place that somebody's in the house. Do you know that there was a case where a man took a younger kid, and he was about, I want to say 12, maybe a little bit older, and they were on farmland, and they had kind of spaced out, but one day this kid disappears, and his dog keeps going to the same spot in the neighbor's gate, just keeps going over there. A few days later, they found, and it's that young man who's been taken's dog. And a few days later, they find the dog gone, dead on the porch of the family, which, as you know, very clear sign that somebody didn't want the dog to keep coming over. Years and years and years later, they search the neighbor's property, and they find that this young man had been held in a door for 20 plus years. I mean, we're talking about like a door that is enough for you to crouch and be shut on, and there was hay over it, and he was in there by himself being fed, whatever the case may be, for 20 plus years. This guy went out there every day, gave him food. I mean, there's just people who are insane, and this is real life. And it was within, like, I think they said it was 600 feet away from his like property line or something like that. And that's why the dog kept coming over there. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, you're missing someone and they were literally 600 feet away for 20 years. And they spent their, like, almost their whole life in a literal hole in the ground. I tell you that story because you just never know. And that was my first initial thought, just because maybe it's influenced by what happened with my family, but just check the house everywhere because there's just no proof that she ever left the house. That's my first initial reaction. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I don't even know how people do that. Hold someone captive there, literally, and just make them sit in a hole, like for no other reason other than just to have them there as your, I don't know, prisoner or whatever the case is. He did say the reason why he never screamed or did anything is that he said the guy put a spell over him where he couldn't talk. I don't know what that means, but that's exactly what he said after everything happened. He said he literally could hear his family sometimes. I mean, it's insane. Just, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But back to what's going on here with Nancy. Guys, it's been 13 days. I'm sure at this point, with the media involved as well, the eyes of the nation and possibly the world at this point are all aware. I look at the situation as every day is obviously more dire because all you want to do is see her come home. That's it. But we're dealing with obviously some very sick people, and they're very, very, very strategic here. What matters the most is that this family gets to know where she is and gets to make peace with whatever that looks like. And I'm praying that she is okay, that she walks back into her home, hugs and embraces her family, and gets to live the rest of her life without any of this. I know people are really in a position right now where there's a lot of finger pointing. Why haven't we figured this out? Where is she? It's very easy to feel that way, and I get that. I mean, I think I waited from November to June every day, just like, what's the update? What do we do? Where could they be? What's the possibilities? And then you run through every scenario. I'm sure the cops and the FBI have to do the same thing. Okay, what's possible? How far could someone go? How these things are running through on a constant basis. I always like to give the police their due credit for putting in the effort and trying to do this stuff, because it's probably different than what we assume it is. But obviously people make mistakes, and I get it. I get both sides. I get why people say what they say. I also understand that this is a hard job and it's not an easy thing to do and figure it out. But yes, I mean, I literally mean check every single crevice of the house. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but it's not. There's people who have taken someone's life and put them above the ceiling in a hospital room, and they didn't know until it was, the worst case scenario, because the person started to decompose to that point, and they had to figure out what it was. But I'm telling you, like, there's stuff that happens that feels like it's unbelievable, but it's not that unbelievable. And so I think at this point you have to think about the possibility that she is somewhere on that property. I don't know how that's possible. I know that I'm really out on a limb here with this, but that was just, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling to say it. Just say, look on her property, search her property to the top to the bottom, get every single person you can to just search every single space. So many people have done this. There's another man who took his wife's life and put her behind an oven and built an entire structure of an oven, a brick oven, and put her in the oven in a very old house and restructured the brick and re-put it back together. And she was in there for a very long time too. And her son, the dad said that his mom ran away, and the son is walking around, coming back from school, coming and checking on his dad, has this horrible feeling, kept writing letters to the police, all these things. They finally investigated it, and they found out that she's been in there that whole time. I'm telling you that because who the hell would ever think that way? Well, a psychopath would. So again, that's just where it comes down to. What I don't want to keep doing, obviously, is sensationalize these things, right? We don't want to give people any kind of credit for doing these type of things. We want these things to stop. These are absolutely psychotic, inhumane things that are happening in our world. And this act alone towards Nancy and her family it's disgusting. But it's also pre-planned, very well thought out. Even if it's someone in the neighborhood, someone scouting, right? I just think of the logistics, right? Like, let's just play the logistics here. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you. I don't know why the chat's not working on our screen. That's where I usually read all your guys' stuff. But logistically, someone would have to know what kind of system you have, how to access the phone, how to know that someone is alone or not. I mean, like, just think about, in this day and age, especially like Arizona, Texas, Utah, places where most people I know have some kind of firearm. You were willing to risk your life to walk into that house if you don't know. Yes, they had a firearm, but you still are the attacker, and you're in their house, so you're literally like, they're technically on defense, but they're kind of on offense because it's their house. So if a home intruder happens and comes back and breaks into someone's house without knowing the layout of the house, without knowing anything about it, without knowing who's in there, what kind of things they're going to face. I'm just thinking of, like, and I'm not trying to be callous. I'm trying to be very, like, understanding here. This is why I think it's somebody that they know that could make this happen very quickly, right? Because you have to understand how this would work logistically. Someone breaks into the house, knows that they're not going to really be met with a threat, right? Knows they can take advantage of it, and then doesn't go in there to take much. I didn't see that there was anything really stolen. They went there for one purpose, and that purpose was to get Nancy. And the reason they would take Nancy is to go and get the dollar amount that they're looking for. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, most people break in so they can find something valuable, so they can make quick cash, or they break in to, hurt someone or take their life. This is weird because this is very strategic. As we all know, a hostage situation always has some kind of bigger plan here. So I think this person knew exactly where they were. They knew exactly what the security system looked like. They knew how to disconnect her pacemaker. How'd they know she had a pacemaker? How did they do that with their phone? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't add up to me at all. How did you know to do that? Because that pacemaker could have kept going and could have tracked her. You could never say, oh, well, they have something in their body that could track them. There's just no way you'd freaking know that. There's no way. So those are all the things that are sticking out to me right now. At the end of the day, I'm keeping as much hope alive as possible. I'm still sticking with the fact that I want to believe that she's going to come home, and that's all we could say right now. And that's all that we need, is to see her come home. And it just makes me sick to think that people do this kind of stuff. Like, we were just talking about Elizabeth Smart and how her documentary came out and how we're going to watch that soon. And by the way, if you're a chief or a mother frickin' one and you have the Discord, we're going to be watching stuff on Discord together. So if you're in there or you're not on the Discord, get on there, because we're going to have watch parties in the Discord, which is going to be really fun. It's the only place we can really watch stuff without all the dings and copyright stuff, which is nice because we're just trying to watch it. But it puts us in position here where this is more regular than you think. And obviously not a lot of kidnapping cases get the public attention. That's what people don't understand, is like going to CrimeCon. Oh man, it's just hard to talk about. I went to CrimeCon and I wanted to walk around just to see what it's like. Obviously I've never been, and I didn't really understand the concept. I was like, this is all a bunch of people getting together about crime. It was nothing like that. So I'm walking around, and I'm pretty sure I have it on video at some point, but there is a wall, and it is chock full of missing people. I mean, it's huge. It's a big giant poster. You can walk across the whole thing, and there's pictures everywhere. People there with missing loved ones. This is not something that is not common in a sense. It's actually pretty unbelievable how this happens more often than people think. And, I lived in Wichita, Kansas at one point. And at that point in Wichita, they were the highest in America for human trafficking. So we had like meetings at school, at college, and in general, like, to be aware that there are, like, because of the way that in the city the freeway system splits out to the major freeways, is why they did that, because they could traffic someone, so grab them, kidnap them, take them, and move them quickly. That shit's insane to me. That's insane to me. We have a mall here in Arizona that has a bad reputation for the same thing. It's effing insane to me that people want to take a human being as if that's on the table and take them somewhere and do something with them. I just can't understand that. But yeah, here we are. 13 days later, Nancy's still, we're not getting too much closer. I mean, there's more obviously coming up, which is great. The FBI is doing a great job. I feel like they're trying as hard as they can. I really don't think they're lacking. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure others have different, but it is weird to me that this is how someone walked into someone's house, walked out with a human being, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? It's just so bizarre and weird. So I totally get that. Oh my gosh. You were almost kidnapped in Wichita? Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's a real thing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's not a joke. Wichita was like at that point literally the capital of human trafficking. It's just, what the hell is that? I don't understand it. But anyway, like I said, we're praying for Nancy. We're praying for the Guthrie family. We will get answers later. Right now, like I said, let's keep our focus on Nancy. That's what I keep saying. I try to say that to the public the most I can, because that's what matters. Until she's found, those other answers will come. And then obviously finding her probably means finding the person who did it in some capacity. And then outside of that, we move forward from there. So praying for her return and that she is found very soon, as soon as possible. And if there's any way that our community can contribute to that, I don't know how, but we just keep making sure that this is said to other people. People can see it that have not seen it. If you're in Arizona, like I know for me, I don't even live too close to this. This is maybe like a couple hours away, but it's like I keep my eyes out because you just never would know. Like there's so many people who have been taken who could tell their story later on and say, he literally drove me in the car and I was just looking out the window the whole time. This happened to Elizabeth Smart. She went into town multiple times with her kidnapping people that were saying that they're her husband. And she walked into parties, walked by cops, was approached by cops, was approached by multiple people, and she never said a word. And people were thinking, how could you not say anything and get out of that? You have no idea what it probably is to be kidnapped and in a situation where you've been brainwashed, who knows what you've been through. I don't want to even try to pretend like I understand. I don't. I'm just saying you would never expect how these things always go. So keep your eyes open if you're in Arizona or anywhere. I don't know. Just keep your eyes open. You have no idea if you'll see something. You'll see that person. I'm telling you right now, if you see that guy with his eyebrows, call the police. Call him, because nobody stands on someone's porch crouched over anyway. And he looks almost identical. We can't say for a fact, but he looks identical to the person who was at that Ring doorbell camera footage at Nancy's house. So that's where I'm at with it. Anyway, I'll let you know if there's anything new. Please continue to pray for Nancy and her family, and just keep them in your heart, and just pray for them. Love you guys. See you very soon. Mods, really do appreciate you and love you. Thank you for being here. I love our community, and see you guys soon. Love you.